And I realized that everybody's not going to want to talk to me. I'm not going to be able to help everybody. But for those that I can, then I've done my job. You know, I have to be patient because for me, it's not about the money. The money is going to come. For me, it's about helping families to get covered. And it's about helping families to create generational wealth for the ones that they leave.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another amazing episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Angela Bowdry. If this is your first time joining us, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell and hit that like button. This will be greatly appreciated in helping getting out this content to great leaders and great individuals like yourself. Angela is beginning to get into entrepreneurship. And on today, we're going to talk about that step-by-step process, because normally on Lead to Greatness, we're interviewing successful entrepreneurs that has multi-million-dollar businesses. But on today, we're going to talk about going to ground zero. Please help me welcome Angela with My Business Startup Journey. Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
Hi, everybody. My name is Angela Bowdry. I am a native of Chicago, Illinois, born and raised there, and also have lived in Oakland, California. I am a mother of one, and I have 3 beautiful grandbabies. I'm also a veteran. I've served from 83 to 1990. Have always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but never really stepped into that field until now.
Wow.
I've also experienced homelessness.
Okay.
And a lot of instability where I've traveled. You know, I have basically lived in 7 different cities. I moved 7 different times. And every time that I moved, it was a different state. You know, so I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but because of my instability, you know, you can't start anything if you don't have a foundation and the stability to do that. Going through VA, they helped me with the homeless program. I was in a transitional home, Catholic Charities, love them, you know, for veteran women. From there, I got my housing, and from my housing, I became a homeowner, which was something that I never saw happening for me. Yeah. It's an amazing feeling. I can't explain to you. I mean, there are times that I'm still ready to go. I want to move someplace else because I've done it for so long. But because I'm now a homeowner, I have to think about, I can't just pack up. I can't just walk away because now, you know, I have a 30-year obligation, right? But it feels great to be a homeowner because I never thought it was possible for me. God did it. You know, of course, I did the work, but God did. None of this would have happened without him. And so what I can tell others is that, you know, I'm kind of the success story, you know, how you go from homelessness to being a homeowner, you know, and I want people to know that it's possible. You know, it happened for me. I did the work, you know, I worked on my credit. You know, I did everything that I needed to do, you know, plus being a veteran, we do have the perks of the no money down, you know, but God blessed me.
Yeah. And that's amazing. So you have something, and now that's stability, and now you're a first-time homeowner, and now here it is, that whole thing, that thought of being an entrepreneur one day is finally getting here. So let's talk about this. What inspired you to begin that entrepreneur journey, and why?
Well, you know what? My story is really funny because I was looking for a life insurance policy. I contacted this lady looking for a life insurance policy, and she talked to me about, hey, do you know in 2053, African Americans are not going to have any wealth? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm African American. So what does that
Mm,
mean for me? What
yeah.
does that mean for my people? And so I looked up the articles and I did find, she told me Google it and I looked it up.
Oh,
Forbes has an article and Black Enterprise has an article, and
yeah.
they were done like back in 2017.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, we're in 2022 now. How is it that they have actually done the statistics as far as African Americans not having any wealth?
Yeah.
And so she was a life insurance agent, and that was the pitch that actually got me, because my mind immediately clicked to, well, how can I stop this? How
Yeah.
can I help this to not come true, for myself and for my people? As time moved on, I ended up getting my life insurance license, because that it bothered me so much, and I just want to be a part of the solution, and the
Mm,
solution is financial education,
yeah.
helping people to get educated about life insurance,
Yeah.
and then I had a incident where a family member passed away and we had to do a GoFundMe. And so that was another thing that bothered me. It's like, I am so tired of GoFundMes. Why don't we think about being covered? So that was back in February 2022. I'm looking for life insurance. I get hooked into this spiel about 2053 African Americans are not going to have any wealth. And so I went on and got my license as a life agent. Well, moving forward, the thing that bothered me was, how can I talk to people about something I don't have? Because I
Yeah.
still wasn't covered,
Mm,
right? What I set out to do took a detour. I'm studying for my test and all this and got my license. And it's like, well, how do I talk to people about something I don't have? And the thing that came to me, that came to my mind was, first of all, lead by example.
mm,
You have to lead by example. That was the
absolutely.
first thing. And then the second thing is that who's going to take me serious? Because the first thing that I would ask someone is, what did you do? What do you
Mm,
have? How
mm,
did you cover your family? And
yeah.
then they would give me, they spill about what they have. So
Yeah.
the fact that I didn't have any coverage, it bothered me. And I thought that nobody would actually take me serious. I went to another life insurance agent, referred by someone else,
Mm,
and he is a godsend. Not only did he find me life insurance where I'm covered, he's also training me, because,
mm,
mind you, I'm a licensed agent. I got the license, but I don't know anything about the business, right? So I have someone now that God has placed in my life, that's showing me everything that I need to do so that I can fulfill God's purpose in helping his people to get coverage, and also being educated about creating generational wealth for our families.
let's do this. You just said a mouthful.
Um,
I want to go back because I don't want to miss this, because you mentioned that you've seen a problem. And listen, lead to greatness. This is the whole purpose of entrepreneurship, is solving problems, fixing problems. And Angela, what's so interesting about your story is you've seen the problem and you want to become a solution to the problem, and you act on it right away, because you said you are a licensed insurance agent. Let's talk about this. What is the length of time did it take from in February when you seen the problem? What did you do after that to get to becoming an agent?
The young lady that approached me about the 2053 African American wealth, I actually joined her team,
Hmm.
right? And I started watching business meetings. They're licensed life insurance agencies that are giving business presentation meetings, and they're telling you about the business and they're telling their stories. Before I got my license, I actually did a presentation at my church. Actually, from February to July, it took me from February to July, actually, to get licensed. I took my test and everything in February, but I was actually working, to reach people about life insurance.
Listen, I have to stop you right here because I want the listeners to understand this. This is 5 months later. 5 months later from the time you realize you've seen the problem, and 5 months later, you are a licensed insurance agent, correct?
Yes.
All right. So 5 months later, go ahead, keep going.
I worked hard to get my license. I hadn't been in school since 2008 or 9,
Yeah.
right? And so when I studied for my test to get this license, I mean, I was diligent every single day. I had a schedule like I was in college,
Yeah.
right? And I took my test, I passed my test. I'm a little bit older, so I really worked hard, But at the end of the day, when I got my license and I'm told to talk to people, I was feeling some type of way. So
Mm.
here it is. I have this license. I'm told I need to talk to people, but my spirit just it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right, and it took me to go to someone else to find a policy for me, which actually I just got covered in November.
Congratulations.
November.
Yeah.
Just got covered
Congratulations. Yeah.
in November for myself. And so now I can go out and I can talk to other people because I feel like if they ask me what I did, I can tell them what I did. This is what I did. This is what's happening. And it's been a journey that had you asked me a year ago, would I be doing this or thinking about doing this? I'd have told you no way.
I love this. I love this, and I love the journey, and I love the way we're kind of breaking down, going through this process, and something that just happened less than 1 year. There's a book by Marshall Goldsmith called "What Got You Here Won't Get You There," and what got you to getting the license wasn't what got you to get your own insurance, because you feel like a hypocrite. Like, man, I'm telling somebody
Exactly.
to do something I'm not doing.
That I'm not
And,
doing.
and
Exactly.
exactly. And I definitely get that. So, and then also you talked about the one you met. So you have someone mentoring you right now. They're
Yes.
taking you through the process. What is that like?
Oh man, it's amazing. Integrity is a big part of my characteristic, right?
Absolutely.
And so when I talked to him and I was looking for life insurance, I never told him that I was an agent, right? I didn't tell him. Our very first conversation, I didn't tell him that I was a licensed agent because I wanted to know where he was coming from.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation and he said, Angela, I found some insurance for you. He said, but I don't want to tell you the price. He said, it's too high. Let me keep looking. And that was the aha moment for me, because what it showed that he had integrity.
Yeah.
It showed that he wasn't about trying to make a commission and get me in something high that I possibly may not have been able to afford, right? He was looking out for my interest. So that was my aha moment. And at the moment that he said that, that's when I said, okay, you know what? I need to tell you that I'm a licensed agent. Can I come in and talk with you? Because I want to learn about the business, right? And I told him the agency that I was dealing with, who I was going with, and he said, you know what? If you can hold off until you talk to me, just come in and talk to me. Let's sit down and talk. Write down your questions, any questions that you have. Now, this man has been in business for over 30 years, right? So I go in, I sit down and I talk to him and I meet him. And it's at that meeting, it's like God just let me know, this is who I need you with. This is who I need you with. Not only does he have integrity, he's honest. He cares about his clients, and he was, let me tell you something that's so funny. He was getting ready to retire. Wow. He was getting ready to retire. And I called him and I talked to him and he said, doggone it, I was getting ready to retire. Wow. And now here you come. He said, and it's like, God is just telling me that it's not time for me to go yet because I still have work to do. Oh. And so that's how we came together. The second aha moment was I was telling him about how I wasn't covered. And he said, well, I train agents. He said, and every agent that works under me has to be covered. Absolutely. Because if you're not covered, how do you talk to anybody else about coverage? So that was the second aha moment. So I'm like, okay, our relationship is ordained. This is definitely divine. This is a divine working relationship. And so since then, I've been in training. I'm learning. He's available to me for any questions that I have. We do things hands-on. We're going to start doing events, actually health fairs, health screenings. He's going to show me everything that he knows. And I am so excited about the process, about the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to, for someone that's considering startup, because you're doing some amazing and going through some great steps in this process, because you mentioned getting with someone and someone that's honest, they have integrity. And you also found someone with what you said, 30 years experience.
And
I mean, so someone have experience. So, this is a good key point for someone that's considering business startup. Get with
exactly,
someone who has done it. Get with somebody with
exactly,
experience. I'm not talking about getting with your cousin or talking to your uncle about business that never had a business a day in his life, and he's telling you what not to do, what not. No, get with someone with experience, and they're teaching you based on the mistakes they made, instead of you trying to do it all by yourself and making those mistakes over and over again. You say 30 years experience.
30
That's
years.
30, that's 30 years of saved mistakes moving forward. This is how you move the process, lightning speed time. And you're going through the process, you're doing everything right. You've been patient. You're waiting. Let me ask you this. How is your patient level right now?
You know what? My patience is really good right now
Okay. Okay.
because I keep ahead of me my why. Why
Mm.
am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I've tried to give it away. I'm not gonna lie. I tried to give it away. God has put such a passion in my spirit for
Mm.
this. And people tell me, Angela, God, you talk about insurance and you light up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, that's nothing but God, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've been asking God for years to give me something to do to help his people,
Mm.
right? I've been asking him for years
Mm.
for something that I could do to help his people.
Yeah.
And insurance is it's a $1 trillion industry, but a lot of people run from insurance people.
Yeah.
So in order for me to have the excitement that I have about it, God is definitely giving me the passion. But here's what I see. For one, and I don't mean to be cynical, but I'm a realist, right?
Mm.
We can't beg, borrow any more time than what God is going to allow us to have, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're all going to leave here at
Yeah.
some point in time.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, why not be covered?
Mm.
Why do we go through things where a loved one is lost and we can't even mourn because we got to worry about how to put them away,
Yeah.
right? The myth that, oh, I got to have a lot of money to have insurance, not true. Not true.
Yeah.
It only takes a little. It only takes a little bit for you to be covered, to not leave your family in a hardship. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
something happens to you.
Yeah.
So it's this thing is so big. And I realize that everybody's not going to want to talk to me. I'm not going to be able to help everybody.
Yeah.
But for those that I can, then I've done my job. I
Absolutely.
have to be patient because for me, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
The money is going to come.
Yeah.
For me, it's about helping families to get covered. And it's about helping families to create generational wealth for the ones that they leave behind.
Yeah.
This is what other cultures have done for years.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know why a lot of our culture, we don't sit down at the dinner table and talk with our loved ones about finances.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We don't teach the things that I've learned just about insurance has actually blown my mind. And I'm in my 50s. So it's like, okay, well, how many other people don't know this?
Yeah.
How many other people don't have this information? So it's more like a mission. But I feel like if I take my time and do the training and go through the process and learn what I need to learn, I'm going to be a powerhouse later to help people that need to be helped.
I love this. I love the passion, but I love you mentioned this and you said it in the beginning, and I don't want to leave this out. You're learning enough, not just for you and for your family, but to educate others and their families. And this is so awesome. This speaks to your heart.
It
This
speaks to my
speaks
heart.
to what you do. And it speaks to the aspect of it's not about the money, it's about helping people. It's about adding value to other people's life. And what we have to understand in entrepreneurship, when you're adding value into others people's life, the value is going to come back to you
Exactly.
100-fold. It's about, and so I love what you're doing. I love the sowing, how you're sowing into your own life to be able to sow into others, and you'll be able to pour into others out of the abundant knowledge of the insurance sector, because there's things I'm learning about insurance. That's things that, listening to you, that's ringing on, about insurance, because that is so true. That thing that people don't want to talk about, people don't want to think about, but it's the reality.
It's the
And we need to
reality.
understand. So we need to be educated. We need to be educated as people, about that. And I love that. And you talked about insurance, and you talked about educating, with finance and building generational wealth, and also leaving a legacy. And these are all great things, So, Angela, I'm definitely excited for what you're doing. I'm excited about your journey. I'm excited about where
I'm
you're going,
excited
and
too.
I definitely want to, because this is the first time we actually done this on the Lead to Greatness podcast, when we're actually interviewing someone that's actually in the process of entrepreneurship. So I think this is awesome. And I definitely would love to have you back on, to talk about where you are, and to really go through that process, to help someone else, and someone watching you, and someone even thinking about doing it would be able to say, you know what? Angela come from homelessness. Angela now own her own home. Now Angela is getting into entrepreneurship, and she's still pushing through it. She's not allowing things. She's not allowing diagnosed from the doctors and all. She's not allowing these things to stop her. And you are an inspiration to someone right now to say, you know what? If Angela can do it, so can I. So what I want you to do right now, I want to give the floor to you, and I want you to talk to that individual that may be on the edge, and they been wanting to start, but the hardest part is to get started, and they haven't got started yet. They've been putting it off. They said they was going to start in 2022. 2022 has come and gone. They said they're going to start in 2023. 2023 is here, and they still haven't pulled the trigger yet. They still haven't made the decision to say, you know what, I am going to do it. What advice and encouragement could you give to that individual?
What I could say to that person is, you can't allow fear to stop you. Fear will stop you in your tracks, but you have to push through it. Yeah. And it's not that I'm not afraid. I don't know, what the outcome is going to be. I feel really good about it. But here's the thing. God says I can do all things. I can do all things. That leaves nothing out. Absolutely. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So with his strength, there's nothing that I can't do. If I have a mind for it, you have a passion. God has given you a passion. It's something that's not going away. Find somebody in the field that you want to get into and ask them to train you. A lot of people that's in business right now don't have a problem with taking someone under their wing. If that's something that you really want to do, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Take them up there, will take you under your wing, but you have got to get out of your own head. Yeah. You've got to stop telling yourself that you can't do this, because there's no such thing as can't, right? And then you just have to do it. Just do it. And the minute that even if it's just baby steps, but move. You can't just sit and talk and say, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And because time passes every day. We can't get back yesterday. It's gone. Yeah. I feel like for me, being in my 50s, I felt like, oh, you're too old to do this. I'm telling you, God has given me such a passion. I couldn't drop this thing if I wanted to, because I know where it comes from. So at the end of the day, he's guiding me every step of the way. He's guiding me. But am I afraid? Yes, I am. But I refuse to let fear stop me, because God didn't give me that spirit. He doesn't give me that spirit of fear.
Yeah.
We have to know what we know and
Yeah.
just walk it out. I'm walking it out. I am
Absolutely.
walking it out, and I
Absolutely.
can't wait to see where this journey is going.
Absolutely. I'm definitely excited. The Lead to Greatness community is definitely excited, and we're going to walk this journey
Yes.
with you. And one thing I'm listening throughout the interview, just over and over again, I mean, you have a huge why. You have a huge why. So I would tell someone that haven't quite started yet, make sure your why is big. Because if your why is big, you said something that just stuck with me. You said you can't drop it if you wanted to. And the reason why, because your why is
My
bigger
why
than
is
you.
big.
It's
Mhm.
bigger than you. It's bigger than you. And I
It's
think
bigger than
that's
me.
great. I want one question before we go on today. Um, what advice would you give to someone who is considering getting into the insurance sector?
Oh, wow. That's, what? This field, especially for African Americans, there's less than 5% of us doing this, right? So if you want to get into insurance, first of all, I have to say, know your why. Know why you want to get into insurance, right? It's enough to go around. This is a $1 trillion industry. And I didn't learn that until I actually got into it,
Mm,
right? And I think in doing this with integrity and doing this with honesty
mhm.
and caring about the people who are going to become your clients, guess what, man? It's so much out here to do with insurance. The more of us work in this field, the more of us we can get covered,
Yeah.
right? Because we tend to listen to each other, right? We tend to talk to each other. We tend to kind of believe each other a little bit more, right? And when I say that, the first thing that came to my mind was Walt Disney. I don't know if you knew, but Walt Disney, it happened because of a life insurance policy
Mm,
that he had. He
mm,
wanted to get a loan that he couldn't get, right? But he dipped into his life insurance policy, and look at the $1 billion industry that Walt Disney is right now,
right.
right? So life insurance, it's not the prettiest field, but it's one that you can definitely work and retire from and have a great life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm glad you said that because people think life insurance is only benefits you when you die, but it benefits you right now. It
As you
can
live.
if you get in the right insurance. So Angela, definitely excited. If someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Well, you can go to LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn, Angela
Okay.
Bowdry. Yes, I'm also email Angela Bowdry 777@gmail.com.
Okay.
And give me a call. Area code 346-317-9265. I'll put it out there. If I don't answer, leave a message. I do answer my phone, but that was one of the first things my trainer said: change your message. You're in business now.
Yes.
So I have a business message where you're not hearing you have reached. I'm actually talking. So yeah.
On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, we want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to coming back.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So we want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself. So we want to thank you for joining us today. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.